Welcome to Jumpstart Your Joy, a podcast that looks at the inspiration, intention, action, and choices that you can make to bring more joy into your life, into the world, and into other people's lives. This is your host, Paula Jenkins. Welcome to episode 219, and this week's episode of 3 Joyful Things, where I look back on some of the aha moments and the inspiration, intention, and action that you can take based on the full episode that I had earlier this week that came out on Tuesday, which was with Marla Cilley, who's also known as the Flylady. This episode originally had aired back in 2016, and I felt like it was really important to bring it back now because I love what she says so much about how you can start to build small, mindful habits, string them together, and then use them to create lasting, transformational change in your life. I feel like this is such an important lesson to learn, and one that really isn't that easy. So it was a real joy to get to speak with Marla about how she teaches people how to do this and the way that she approaches it in her very own program. So it was a real treat to have her on. These episodes are shorter ones. They come out on Thursdays, and originally the content that you're getting here came out just in my newsletter and was sent out via email. I decided just last week to start to make these into an audio podcast episode as well, so that if you subscribe to either the newsletter or the show itself, you'll be able to listen to it or read it, whichever way fits best for you. So before we get into the bulk of the aha moment that I had this last week, I first want to give a few housekeeping things because there's been some exciting things going on this week in Jumpstart Your Joyland. First, I want to say a huge thank you to Lisa of Scaling Deep podcast. She had me on this last week. The episode just went live and it was so much fun. She's a business consultant and she talks to people about how instead of casting a wide net, how do you niche down and really get into a business that fits you? And it was fun talking to her about the origins of this podcast. I think you'll really enjoy hearing about how I started a business from something that I just love doing, but how it also fits in with the rest of what I have done professionally for 20 years. And so, of course, it all makes good sense. So you can find that over at Lisa's website, and I will put a link, or you can look, if you're already in a podcast app right now, look for Scaling Deep podcast, and you'll find me on there. The other thing is this week, I'm going to be submitting a brand new meditation. It'll be my third over at Insight Timer, which is an amazing app. This is totally not an ad. I just love their community so much. If you download the app, you get access to, I think it's 30,000 free meditations and visualizations from various people, from Jack Kornfield to me. You get access to all these amazing free things to support you. And this week, I'm going to be posting a meditation all about how you can tap into the things that you really want for this holiday season and how you can mindfully bring those to be a part of your life as you approach the next 2 busy weeks. So you can find that over at Insight Timer. A link will also be in the show notes for this episode. And then, of course, if you want to start a podcast of your very own in 2020, I'll be kicking off my Jumpstart Your Podcast class, which starts January 16th. It'll run about 8 weeks. You'll go from idea to a full-blown show. There's been so many awesome shows that have come out of this class. Free Her Spirit, Midlife Schmidlife, Doing It on the Side, and the Egg Whisperer show all went through my class and have had a lovely run as podcasts themselves that has really bolstered their business and made an impact in the world in a different way. So there's that. You can find that information over at jumpstartyourjoy.com. And of course, if you want to get in on these weekly episodes where I'm sharing this content, you either need to be subscribed to the newsletter at jumpstartyourjoy.com. You can sign up for that, or find the podcast on any podcast player, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Just hit subscribe. It's free. You don't have to pay for podcasts. So you'll get this content right into your phone. So let's talk about the really big aha moment that I had back when I originally talked to Marla, the way that I found her was probably 10 to 15 years ago when I was, honestly looking for different ways of approaching cleaning my house. And that's what Flylady is all about on the surface, is how can you put into place a process for zone cleaning. So she breaks your house up into different zones, and then you spend 15 minutes a day cleaning. Not bad. Of course, as with many things in this life, there is that kind of structural component that helps you do something that has like a real life implication. And then there's also the piece that's psychological that sits behind that, which is, of course, well, why were you dragging your feet on cleaning your house in the first place? Or what makes it hard for you to declutter in the first place? And so she starts to get into the psychology of it, which is a really interesting perspective. The thing that I love so much about what she said in this last interview was we started to talk about the Marie Kondo method of decluttering and cleaning out your closet. The thing that Marla said that stood out to me so amazingly was she talked about how Marie, her way of doing it is that you take everything out of your closet and put it on your bed and then go through all of it. And Marla said, oh no, that would never work for the people in my program because they would immediately get so overwhelmed that they would stop dead in their tracks and not move any further. So here's the inspiration for this week's aha moment is really that Marla fully understood kind of the limitations of what people in her program are capable of doing. And it's her intention of making these things so that they are doable for the person that is doing them. So while Marie Kondo's method is beautiful and aspirational and amazing, it may not fit into your life. And what I love, and here's the inspiration for this week, is to right size the thing that you are doing and the thing that you want to achieve to fit your life so that you feel great about doing it. So the inspiration there is to right size the way that you approach something so that it fits your life. The intention is to really mindfully look at that thing that you want to change and decide how you want to make that change. So even though the idea in Marie Kondo's book of holding each thing in your hand and deciding if it sparks joy might be really the thing that you want to tackle and you do want to clean your closet, the intention here might be that you're going to get overwhelmed when you pull everything out. So you set the intention to complete the task, but to do it in a way that fits for you. So I might, if I wanted to go do this, decide I'm going to look at 5 things a day. Look at each one, decide if it sparks joy, and put the ones that don't into a donation pile. The action for you guys this week is to make a plan. So take the thing that you want to do and then make a plan around it using baby steps that let you accomplish the thing in the way that works for you in your life. Notice where you might feel that overwhelm is coming up and find another way to do it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as Marla says, but make it fit for you. I hope that this was really helpful for you guys, and I would love to hear if you implement some of these steps or try some of this on. You can always email me at jumpstartyourjoy@gmail.com. I love to hear from you, and I love to hear what you try out. And I'd also love to hear if you're enjoying these episodes as well. I hope you'll come on back next week. And until then, I hope that your days are filled with so much joy. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you want to find out more about this episode, including links to the things that we've talked about, you can find the show notes at jumpstartyourjoy.com. And you can search for this episode right up there in the right-hand corner of the website, and you'll find it. While you're on the website, I know you're going to want to sign up for my weekly newsletter, which is 3 Joyful Things. It's where I take a look and give you guys the behind the scenes of what I'm really thinking about with each episode, including the inspiration, intention, and action, along with the choices that you can make in your own life to bring some of the things that each guest or I share into your everyday life. So it's a lot of fun. You can find the sign up for that off the homepage or within the show notes of every episode. And I would love to connect with you. I hang out a ton on Instagram, where my handle is Jumpstart Your Joy. You can also find the Facebook page for this podcast at Jumpstart Your Joy. So I hope you guys will come on back next week. And until then, I hope that your days are filled with so much joy.